All right. Hey, before we go live, I want to just quickly say something, man.
Too late. Too late.
Wait.
Too late. Save that secret stuff for after, or share it with everyone. It's your call. But we've already started. But once again, you ruined my TikTok. Time to rock. I had to hurry because Adam here was saying, "Hurry up, David." Adam Baruch was saying, "Hurry up, David."
You see? Hurry up, David.
Hurry up, you Islamophobes. Hey, how's everyone? I didn't know this, but Ecamm changed all the controls again. I didn't even do an update or anything.
They did? That's fine.
Yeah, they just mainly changes how everything looks. Huh. Weird. Hey, you heard of this Douglas Murray guy?
Who?
This Douglas Murray guy?
Who? Yes, I did. Yeah. What about him? What did he say again? What did he say again? What did he say this time?
Here's the thing. So a little while back when I got banned from Great Britain, I was going to the ARC conference. The ARC conference. That's Alliance for Responsible Citizenship. Put together the brainchild of Mr. Jordan Peterson.
Oh.
And so, but they have this huge conference now, and they have all these different thought leaders and speakers and influencers and so on. And so, but here's what's interesting. So I've watched some of the speeches. The speeches are on their YouTube channel, the Art Conference YouTube channel. So I've been going through some of the speeches by Ayaan Hirsi Ali and Oz Guinness and so on. I checked out the Constantine kissing one. Not sure who he's been kissing over there, but he was very happy. And the Douglas Murray one. What's interesting about people at the ARC conference is they seem pretty hopeful for the future. Like you've got a lot of people in Great Britain that think they're doomed. And they have all these guys. The tide is turning, things are changing. And I don't know. It's interesting. So not everyone is like you, AP. It's too late for everyone. It's too late for Europe and Great Britain. They're all doomed, and they will all be doomed to destruction forever.
Well, I mean, I get it. It's and I sympathize with it because if you want to, have an audience, you have to kind of sell an idea, even if it's like a false hope.
Yep.
So you can tell people that there is still hope. Of course, we all know there is no hope. They are doomed. But I mean, I sympathize with the idea.
Yeah. So you gotta sell the idea. You gotta sell the idea of hope to keep your conference going.
You see.
So anyway, with that said, Great Britain does suck pretty hard. To introduce this Douglas Murray speech we're going to go through, ladies and gentlemen. To introduce this Douglas Murray speech, we're going to go through a little clip here. Two clips actually. One, we're going to see the British police response to some old guy posting a message on Facebook that the government said is wrong and immoral, and this old guy must be confronted. And we'll see a completely different response with Keir Starmer's appearance for a delicious Ramadan fasting meal.
Ooh.
Nothing says fasting like stuffing your face with a bunch of tons of fatty food.
Makes me want to eat a big dinner with everything that I ever wanted to eat throughout the whole year. That's what Ramadan reminds me of. Want to eat lots of food and get fat.
That's why they call it Ramadan month. Ramadan month. Gotta ram it down. Like I can't possibly eat anymore. Shut up. Ram it down.
Beast.
Wait, what's this? Pat's Leather Strap says, it was an old woman. Who's an old woman?
I'm not an old woman.
I think it was an old man. I don't know though. I didn't actually watch the clip. I just saw it when people were circulating it. They said this is They said something like an 83-year-old or 73-year-old man or something like that. But I don't know. Let's check the voice. Let's check the voice. It'd be even more messed up if it's an old lady. But we're gonna go ahead and check out the video. All right, guys. So here's the status of Great Britain. If you're, let's say, an old person, it remains to be seen whether this is an old man or an old woman. We have someone saying that it's an old woman. I cannot confirm or deny that yet. But this is the status of Great Britain. If you're an old person and you post something on Facebook that the government says is unacceptable. Here we go.
Well, stop being old.
Great Britain. Yeah, this is what you get, old people. This is what you get in your face. Don't be old and posting on Facebook. It's full. Social media is only for young people. How dare you? All right, ready? Here we go.
Yes.
Okay, so
What do you mean I can't have any alcohol?
okay, well I'll tell
That sounds
you.
like a dude.
Okay, the time's 20 to 3, 14:40. I'm arresting you on suspicion of improper use of the electronic communications network. And just
What?
127 of the Communications Act. Okay, so you do not have to say it. That may harm.
You guys reading this? We're arresting
Why
you.
being that way?
We're arresting you. What is this? Arresting you on suspicion of improper use of the electronics communications network. And then what? They're arresting you for improper use of social media. Wow, 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 wow.
What in
Great Britain, ladies and gentlemen. Great Britain.
what in Great Britain is this?
What in Great Britain is this? All right. Let's check this out.
Alcohol.
Okay, well I'll tell you. Okay, the time's 20 to 3, 14:40. I'm arresting you on suspicion of improper use of the electronic communications network. And just
What?
127 of the Communications Act. Okay, so you do not have to say it. That may harm your offence.
I love that. What?
What?
Anything you do say maybe.
Get off my lawn, lady. Hang on. What
May
is it?
harm your defence if you don't mention one question subject to later or in court. Anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you understand that?
So I'm actually being
You're going
arrested?
to be arrested, okay?
Right,
Take
and-
that to the police station.
Right.
Ask you, okay, this is in relation to some comments that you've made on a Facebook page. Okay?
Oh, really? Oh, it's a Facebook crime, is it?
Okay.
Right.
So we need
Facebook crime. He says it was a Facebook crime, is it? This person probably posted, "Hey, why don't police do something about these grooming gangs?" And then this is the response: "We'll teach you a lesson. We'll teach you to question us."
What in the world? What the?
Well-
I'm just reading the law right now.
ask you some questions about that.
Right.
Have you got anything in your pockets?
I got my keys. No, that's about it, I think. Keys.
So, anyone who's been arrested, we can search them under Section 32 of the Police and Criminal Act.
Right.
And that's for dangerous items.
Hey,
Evidence.
you said I was going to be arrested under some what information? I'm going to be
We've had
arrested for
reports that
posting on
you've made
Facebook.
some comments that are offensive, obscene, and people have made a complaint about that, and it's
And can you tell me what this comment
Cops putting on rubber gloves always creeps me out, man.
was?
Name.
Would you
Okay,
like
well
to
we'll
call
do
an
that when
interview?
we interview.
All right. And so,
They pull out the Vaseline, man. Step back.
am I going to be locked up for the night, or
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
right? Do I need to
Unless
take
you
my
bill
medications
us.
with me?
How,
Yes, we will look at taking all of those.
When do you need to take them?
Well, I've got pain medications. I've got sleeping medication. I've got anxiety medications, which I might take one of those in a bit.
Okay.
You know.
Well, if we take everything with us, then you've got everything there, haven't you?
And then
And
the
if you
Okay.
nurse, we've got a nurse up there. They'll be able to.
Okay.
They'll be able to come and see you, and then once you've been there, they can assess whether or not medication can be issued. All right. So what we're going to do is, if you want to pop yourself up, we're just going
All
to
right.
You
search.
need the glasses
Search you.
to come with you.
My glasses.
Yeah. Do you want to
Why?
take them with you?
Why?
First of all,
Well-
I'm going to seize this, okay, as evidence.
Well,
Gonna seize this as evidence. You catch that? Seize this as evidence, and then the phone cuts out. Seize.
All right.
They gotta take your phone as evidence. Wow, wow, wow. Awesome stuff. Awesome. Great job. Great job. Great job, Great Britain. You're doing a bang-up job.
All right. So here is the
What?
improper use of public electronic communications network section. Communications Act 2003, Section 127, improper use of public electronic communication network. A person is guilty of an offense if he sends by means of a public electronic communications network a message or other matter that is grossly offensive or of an indecent, obscene, or menacing character, or causes any such message or matter to be sent. A person is guilty of an offense if, for the purpose of causing annoyance, inconvenience, or needless anxiety to another, he sends by means of public.
I don't like that stuff, man. I don't like that all. When your crime is based on other people's reaction, that's the creepy part. Because then you've got a let's just say there is a crowd out there, ladies and gentlemen, who becomes extremely offended by anything that disagrees with them. And so when you're saying, "Oh yes, if this is horribly offensive to other people, then it's illegal and we'll lock you up," and there is a group out there that is horribly offended by anything.
A controversial act that raises questions over free speech. You think? You think? A person found guilty under this can be imprisoned for a term not exceeding 6 months, or to a fine not exceeding level 5 on the standard scale. I don't care if it's even just 1 month or just 1 day. Being imprisoned.
And the crazy part is, it's police doing this to some old guy, but these are the same cops. If they hear, hey, you know what's going on with this grooming gang over here, they'll be like, oh no, don't say anything about that. We'll lock you up for saying anything about that. You better not say anything about that. And we don't care if it's your daughter. If it's your daughter and you got a problem with it, then we'll arrest you. These guys are nuts, man. These guys are insane. Wild, wild stuff. All right. For comparison, by way of comparison, let's check out how things are going on for Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer. Here he is celebrating Ramadan.
I absolutely wanted to be here for today, for this event, and to have the first of these events here in Westminster Hall is really, really
Westminster
fantastic.
Hall?
I want to start by thanking...
They're having their Ramadan meal in Westminster Hall. Oh my goodness, sorry.
The speakers of both houses for hosting this event. I think that shows the strength of unity and also to the APPG, of course, on British Muslims for organising it. It's fantastic to be able to get so many people here together in such a symbolic way, in such a symbolic place. So it is absolutely fantastic to be with you as people gather in homes, in mosques and communities around the country during this special season. Come together in charity and service and welcome people of all.
That's what I do as Prime Minister of Great Britain. I do this. But only to Muslims.
It's funny because it kind of sounded like you were ripping a tape off of thing, you know? One of those.
That's what it sounds
tapes.
like when
Yeah.
Keir Starmer kisses people right on their bottoms.
Faiths and none for an iftar. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to speak for too long because I hear the food tonight.
It's a bloody
fantastic.
Hey, look, he's sitting here talking about the fantastic food that they're about to chow down on. Oh, we've got all this food because, you know, it's Ramadan, so we got the best food. We're Ramadan fasting, and there's no food like the Ramadan fasting. I posted a tweet early this morning. I said it's called fasting because it's the fastest way to get fat. That's pretty funny.
For an iftar. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to speak for too long.
Good, we're
because I hear the
starving.
food tonight is fantastic, and we all want to get to that sooner rather than later.
Ah, shut up. We want our food. I don't know why I'm doing the wrong accent.
But it's excellent to be here, to celebrate with you. And not just to celebrate, to say thank you. Thank you for the incredible contribution.
Thank you for the vote.
To the United Kingdom.
Thank you for grooming
Thank you
those
for
little.
your
Thank you for
power.
grooming so many
Across
little
the
girls
whole
and
of our
telling them what
society,
garbage they
in
are.
every community in Britain, you see Muslims making a difference, helping to deliver every.
Isn't it funny? Because I mean, here's the thing: there are Muslims who are making a difference. There are Muslims who are living, but
I don't
living perfectly normalized. It's like,
I don't care.
what other community on the planet needs to constantly be praised and affirmed, or they like are super fragile?
Good job.
Good job. Good job. You're doing a good job. You're doing. That's how he treats you guys. It's like, I wouldn't want, if I were a Muslim, I wouldn't want to be treated like this. Like, you know, you got all these grooming scandals and terrorist attacks, and then I have to come and tell you about how great you are all the time while I'm locking up everyone else for disagreeing with me.
Good boy. Just like Daddy. Good job. So ridiculous.
What is this,
so
man?
Freaking
Grow a pair. What is this? Is this who you guys voted for? This who you guys voted for? You voted in this guy. They call him two-tier Keir. Two-tier Keir. Isn't it funny? And then he gets mad, and now they think you're an extremist if you call him two-tier Keir. Well, look at how these guys act. It's insane.
Oh, look how he's well behaved.
Look, you're so good for us. You're so good. We're so happy with your contributions, isn't it?
I want to say
Now
something
let's
about
have all this great food and let's all pretend we're fasting.
fasting, innit? I'm writing up something because I wanted to record it actually today. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. But about comparisons between church tradition and biblical tradition and practices, and how they are completely disconnected from Islam. For example, I kind of had this whole thing since I visited, since I went to church. It has been on my mind. I kind of told my wife about it. It's like an Orthodox church is kind of like, I guess, the closest that you can get to certain temple practices and how they were adopted and continue to be practiced and so on. And over Christian history, there is more or less of it, but there's always kind of a connection to at least the scripture and the songs and certain proceedings and so on. In Islam, there's nothing like that. If you go to a mosque, all you do is just do some gymnastics and then go home. That's it, basically. So, but thinking in this way, even about fasting, it's kind of funny. You know, we just watched this video of that Catholic archbishop who was saying that Ramadan is the Muslim month of penance, which he got wrong. It's not a Muslim month of penance. Muslims don't fast because of penance. That's not what they do. That's not what they do. And
that's what they do.
It's funny because in the biblical context, fasting is this thing to make up for something, to repent, to have humility and get closer to God, and so on. There is fasting in Christian tradition and Jewish tradition for penance. In Islam, yes, people do fast, but the fasting is not fasting. The fasting is just abstaining from food for a little bit, and then to feast and gorge yourself. There is nothing about penance there at all. It has nothing to do with penance. It is not something respected. It's not something to be respected. It is once again a ridiculous practice, and everyone is asked to respect it. And Muslims act like it's such a special, wonderful thing that they have to brag about it and mention it and talk about it. Why, man?
That's my problem with it, right? If you called it the Feast of Ramadan, you wouldn't hear a peep out of me. Call it a Feast of Ramadan. You guys are feasting for an entire month, right? If you called it Thanksgiving month instead of Thanksgiving Day, we have Thanksgiving Day here in America where we eat a big meal. If you had Thanksgiving month, I might say, hey, you need to watch what you eat. Got to be careful there and stuff like that. But it wouldn't be this big issue. But it's this combination of factors where, one, they're gorging themselves with food multiple times per day and calling it fasting.
That's what they
so that's one thing. They're calling it fasting. But two, they claim to respect Jesus, and Jesus had a lot of warnings about doing things just for show, to be seen as righteous. And it's like they claim to respect Jesus, and yet Islam is the exact opposite of what Jesus said about doing your prayers to be seen by others, fasting to be seen by others. In Islam, everything is done to be seen by others. They're constantly, look what I do. Like it's not about praying in the mosque. It's about going over and like taking over streets and stuff like this, or you have to be doing it in front of everyone's faces constantly. And if you had said, here's the thing, if the religion had said, we do the opposite of what Jesus says. We condemn everything Jesus says. We can't stand what Jesus said. He says, don't do things for a show, but we will do everything for a show. That would be one thing. It's this combination of we respect Jesus and he's a mighty prophet and we believe what he says. And our entire religion is the exact opposite of everything he says. That's like, you're insane. You're insane if you're like that. Anyway, that's my issue with it. That's my issue. All right, let's let two-tier Keir finish his two-tier speech.
Difference. Helping to deliver every single one of the government's missions. In business, helping to grow our economy. In education, giving our young people the opportunities that they deserve. In our NHS, of course. In charity work. British Muslims are amongst the most generous group in the United Kingdom and beyond.
Wrong.
So I must say thank you to
And
you
beyond.
for all of that. And particularly what I know has been a very difficult time for Muslims here in the United Kingdom. With the pain of the conflict in Gaza and the suffering of the Palestinians.
He had to put that in there.
I've been profoundly moved.
The pain over Gaza. Think about how sad Muslims are here about October 7th. I mean, about not being able to slaughter all the Jews.
Pause. Who is he talking to here? He's talking to Muslims. Right? He's not talking to Palestinians. He's talking to Muslims. And what's the one thing he brings up immediately? To remember what a difficult time it is for Muslims. He brings up the war in Gaza. Do people talk to Christians left and right and say, and we know what a difficult time it is right now, considering all the Christian persecution going on in Nigeria and in Egypt. Just in Egypt, a woman has been kidnapped and raped, and the community has been told to be quiet about it.
Of course, people don't do that. They don't. If he were like that with other groups, including Christians, he'd be one-tier Keir. Which part of two-tier? There's one tier for Muslims and all things Islamic, and there's another tier for everyone else. Get that through your head, AP. You're like, I mean, dude, it's literally his name. Two-tier Keir. And you're like, why are there two tiers? Of course there are two tiers. It's in his name, dude.
Now, the first thing is, they always say, "Oh, it's not about religion. It's not about religion. It's a this and that word. It has nothing to do with religion." Oh, okay, but suddenly, it is a big distress, a big struggle for Muslims everywhere that the war in Gaza is going on. Interesting, very, very interesting. But secondly, only Muslims ever get this treatment. I swear, the world treats Muslims like little babies, and Muslims love it. They love it. Because they make people do this. They make you do this by crying and believing that they are the victim. Why do people do this? Is why I hate the United Kingdom right now. I mean, I want to abstain. I'm kind of on a new path of trying to say of trying to not express hatred or anything. But the only thing that I reserve hatred for still is the United Kingdom among all of those things. I mean, look at this, man. Look at what kind of imbeciles lead this sick society.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, and they've got to make it till like 2029 with this dude. Is that how it works?
Man, what an embarrassment! What an embarrassment!
Awful. All right. Well, I wanted to be here for your prayers so I could come around and kiss your behinds while you bow down and show my true place as your Dimmy. Dimmy Keir. Take some super chats, and then we'll check out Douglas Murray's. The point of all that is things are looking pretty rough in the UK, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty rough in the UK. But we're gonna see a ray of sunshine from Douglas Murray, our favorite gay atheist. Why? Our favorite gaytheist. Why are we watching Murray from Impractical Jokers? I think I saw that show once, but I don't remember any names. D Wood and AP are based. This is true. This is true.
Oh, thank you. Well, was it Ida? Ida is based. Thank you, Ida.
Rage Against the Ummah says, had a Muslim tell me that the hadiths are more reliable than the New Testament. Didn't Bukhari exist 200 years after Muhammad? Yeah, your Muslim friend here doesn't know what he's talking about. All the Gospels are first century documents. They're within a century of the life of Jesus. Bukhari, their main source, is 200 years after Muhammad, and some of their other hadith collections are even later. I mean, some of their main other hadith collections are even later. So yeah, you got a problem. Morning is broke. This is an old video this week. It was an old woman. Oh, did I get the wrong one? Because there was a. Yeah, I saw something circulating. Oh, okay, so Pat's Leather Straps is saying the one that came out that I got the wrong video. The one from this week is an old woman. I will want additional confirmation of that, but that is entirely possible. I saw things circulating, and then I grabbed a video from someone who shared it, but I could have grabbed the wrong one. But even so, it would have been like that. That would have been from a couple months ago or something like that.
So here's the thing. Apparently, so what constitutes grossly offensive speech or grossly offensive content for which you can be prosecuted under this act in the UK, anything that can be perceived or that would be perceived as very likely causing serious distress and serious harm by, for example, downplaying serious instances such as death and things like that. Stuff that we joke about, stuff that we find funny, things that we have dark. There is a whole genre of humor about this, of jokes about, of comedy about this. It's called dark humor. But apparently, so the law advises that even if you personally find it funny, and even if you think it is dark humor, some dark humor about certain subjects that are too widely held to be controversial and hurtful could lead to, going against this law, and could thereby lead to you being arrested and charged.
Oh, Rebecca would be toast.
That's true.
She'd be in all kinds of trouble, man.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. My issue with these with rules like this is always if you're making laws about, you need to be very clear on what you do, on how what you do is a crime. When you base a crime, at least in part, on other people's reactions to it, that's pretty creepy stuff. It encourages people to flip out and throw tantrums over stuff, and then to get you arrested.
That's what they do.
Hey, have you guys ever heard of Bob from Speaker's Corner? And would you guys? Who's that?
No, shout out to Bob. Bob is awesome.
Yeah, we all know Bob. We're friends with Bob. We've been on with Bob, and I've been at a conference with Bob last year. Was going to be at a conference with Bob this year, but if you're in the UK, they will have a conference this year at some point. Those are all the details I can give you. Bob the Builder. He used to go by Bob the Builder, and then changed it. I wonder if he got sued. What if he got sued? No, you can't do that when you're not the real Bob the Builder.
Send Bob.
Can I make an idol of Allah and worship it? Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Shouldn't.
If you're talking about what you're physically able to do, yes, you can. Snopes article. UN says the 70 beheaded Christians has hitherto, henceforth be verified. The same UN who will take Hamas stats at face value. Did they say that? That'd be stupid. But the UN's pretty stupid. Not very based at all. My atheist friend was so impressed with my Muslim friend that he said, has anyone ever told you that you're literally a prophet? And it was so funny. Yeah, that's good. Definitely say that. And I'm proud to be an American where at least I know I won't be arrested for saying something on Facebook, at least for now. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. Guess I won't be going to the UK anytime soon. They wouldn't like some of my recent Twitter or Reddit activity. I'm too Islamophobic for them. Yep. What's crazy? What's crazy is if you had enough people who just said, "What are you going to lock us up for?" Posting on Facebook. If you had like 1 million people go, "Okay, we're all doing it," nothing they can do. Nothing they can do. As long as it's some old person, some old guy doing it, then they can lock that person up. Powerful stuff coming out of the new island caliphate. You see, this is proof of Islam. Happy Bama Ramadan. I don't get how a country can be so liberal and so pro-Islam at the same time. It is absolutely insane. It is absolutely
not liberal.
insane.
It's just not liberal. It's just this is not liberalism. Liberalism. It's like this is what happens when people take this whole name and title of liberalism, and then completely deviate from the basic fundamentals of liberalism and take it into a different direction. If it was liberalism, you shouldn't have a system where you actively suppress people's right to speak and offend others. This would go against a very famous idea within liberalism, which would be free speech, which would be that people should be able to say whatever they want unless they directly incite or their words directly lead to actual harm to other people, so infringe upon other people's rights. If you violate these things, you are no longer following the idea of liberalism. You're violating.
You're talking about classical liberalism here, and I'm going to say on behalf of all Americans everywhere, we are not going to be lectured by a freaking German Turkish dude who's half wolf about liberalism.
Yes.
Everything you say is colored through your German Turkish goggles you wear.
This new liberalism is just a complete violation of everything that liberalism actually stands for.
It's a reversal of many of its core principles.
It's so ridiculous. It goes into an authoritarian direction in many ways, not just in the economic ways, also in the social, in pretty much any way. It's such a clown show.
It is pretty pathetic. What dirt do Muslims in UK have on Starmer? That's what lots of people found out. You don't need a ton of dirt. You just need to wire a population, or at least important people in that population, with hey, we'll shower you with praise if you do what we want, and we'll shower you with abuse and charges of Islamophobia if you do something we don't like, and if you have weak-minded, soft target people like Keir Starmer. You can program them. You can program their behavior over time, and eventually they'll be groveling at your feet because that's what gets them praised by you. And so you're stuck with it. I wouldn't be surprised if the UK changed "God Save the King" to "Allah Save the Sultan." That would be funny. That's what they do. Why does Europe want to be gay for Islam so much? It pisses me off beyond belief. What in this stupidity is going on? Yet Muslims still cry like babies talking about how mistreated they are. Yeah, and that's what Keir was saying. I mean, think about this. He has them come to Westminster for their meal, and you've got the prime minister kissing their behinds. The prime minister, like every politician, every journalist, every educator, every entertainer, everyone does nothing but praise Islam. And what does he say? Oh, especially during these horrible times of persecution and Islamophobia. You poor people. The entire nation could be groveling at their feet, and they'd still be going, "We're victims. We're victims. Look at us. We're victims." Not a strong culture. Have a good Ash Wednesday and start of Lent, UK. Hey, my name is Momo. I'm a bit homo, but that's okay because Dia is also gay. By the way, I hope you're fine. Bring me Aisha when she's still 9. Surah 33 verses 74 to 75. Before a goat ate them. Yep. Goat ate those verses. Why do these leaders actively want to destroy their nations? I do not understand the psychology, and it makes me want to scream into a pillow.
Because that's what they do.
That's what they do, and I have to say, enough people voted for him. I saw the argument morality being subjective is a fact because people disagree on it. I thought this was a fallacy like a liar's paradox where subjective morality cannot be a fact if subjective thoughts. Well, saying that something is subjective because people disagree on it would be stupid, right? Like if I say 2 + 2 is 4 and you say no, 2 + 2 is 5, then we disagree on it. That does not mean it's subjective and it's just whatever we believe, right? You have to go. The issue you're talking about is meta-ethics. Basically, if there is a foundation that makes certain moral claims true, or that makes moral, if there are moral facts, if there's something that makes moral facts, then morality isn't subjective. If there is no foundation for it and it's all just feelings or how you've been raised or something like that, then it's a different story. But yeah, what you don't say is people disagree on it, therefore it's subjective, because that would be embarrassingly stupid. So tell your friend that he's really dumb. Super sticker. We had a pair character. Show us. Come on, Ecamm. Show us the super stickers.
Show me.
I'm going to vomit from all this kissing. Yeah, people are pretty bad. It is pretty terrible. I'm an old person. I'm willing to be arrested for listening to you two problematic dear boys. Thank you for being a hilarious voice of reason. That's what we do.
Thank you. That's what we do.
Ramadan equals intermittent feasting with jihad in between. Intermittent feasting. Intermittent feasting with jihad in between. That's true. I don't care for Europe. I'm an American because I'm an American. I don't care. I'm going to add a cuz there. I don't care for Europe because I'm an American. What has Europe done for us? We had to save them twice from themselves. Good riddance. If it wasn't for us, they'd all be speaking German. If it wasn't for us, what would they be but the smallest province in the Russian Empire? Good riddance. Guys, a little cash, but much love. Thank you. We'll take all the love.
Thank you.
Devin said, when I said Tate wasn't a trafficker, I meant legally, not ontologically, David.
What? What's the point of that?
He said legally, not ontologically.
What's the point of that?
So he's ontologically a trafficker, but legally has not been verified in a court of law. Point was not allow governments act as if someone is guilty before they formally RR. AP, I'm a constitutional admin lawyer. I'm very learned on due process.
You are.
Philosophy degree here too. God bless. Yeah, it just doesn't work like that, Devin. When you lock people, if someone is accused of murder and there's credible evidence, what do? They lock the person up even before the trial. Unless Tate has just been lying all along about everything he's done and somehow came up with there ended up being all these people to confirm, yes, he was doing that stuff to us. Unless he's making it all up and they're making it all up and there's just a ton of people making all this up, this dude is guilty. It's just a matter of how much is he guilty of? That's the question. So if he's guilty of a bunch of extreme stuff, here's what you have. If he's guilty of a bunch of extreme stuff, like raping a minor, sex trafficking a minor, and things like that, and he's a dude, remember, we haven't really been covering Tate for a long time, but if you remember, this is a guy who bragged about having 8 different passports and stuff so he could always run, and how he would flee one country and go to another country based on the level of corruption in the government. That way he could always bribe his way out of things. That's a sort of person you'd want to say, we need to keep close tabs on him. Whether he's under arrest or he's under house arrest or judicial control or whatever it is, you need to be keeping an eye on that person, not letting him tour the world. If you're gonna say, here are all the charges against this guy and we have piles and piles of evidence, oh yeah, let's let him go on a world tour, then basically you're saying, then until someone has been proven guilty, they should never be thrown in jail or anything like that. If you've murdered 10 people and you're just running around murdering people, then you haven't been convicted, so don't lock the person up. That seems weird.
I don't even understand. I don't know. I don't remember what you said or what it was in reference to, Devin, but I don't even understand the point here, because I would never suggest, or I don't believe any of us suggested here, that Andrew Tate should be without going through a fair trial, imprisoned or
we want a
killed or
fair
executed.
trial, and if he is innocent of anything, we want him
Yeah.
declared innocent of that or declared not guilty. I don't know exactly how things work in Romania.
Nobody suggested that he should just be, without due process, be imprisoned or anything like that. No, I know for a fact that he is a sex trafficker by definition, by the UN definition, as we understand, he is a sex trafficker. He's also a rapist, as it seems, by his own admission and the records on record and so on.
Serial abuser of women.
Nobody here is suggesting that he has been legally convicted of being either of those things. He's still under investigation for both of these, and nobody has suggested that he should receive a sentence immediately without trial for these things. Nobody is making such a suggestion. However, I can definitely say I am all in favor of the United States detaining this person and also starting an investigation here on behalf of the United States. Which,
Yeah,
by
isn't that
the way,
happening?
happened today. Yes, it actually happened.
Yeah, Florida.
DeSantis said that he will instruct such a process to start immediately because he personally he doesn't want somebody like that to be here in Florida freely. And they actually just announced that they started an investigation into Andrew Tate and Kristen Tate, and Florida issued a warrant. So good luck with that. But yeah, nothing we said here contradicts with the law.
Hey.
What?
Oh, people are pointing out that you've got a Trump speech now. What is this? What is this speech? What to watch for? President Trump's address to Congress is underway. Well, too bad we've got cooler stuff. We might want to cover this if anything interesting is said. We'll see.
I give the best speeches.
I give the best speeches. They're the most based. Yeah. So on the issue of Andrew Tate, one, Andrew has done some really, really bad, messed up, and illegal stuff. And these are serious crimes. That's one point, Devin. If you disagree with that, then we just have to disagree. Two, we want a fair trial. We want a fair trial and for him to be convicted of the things that are proven, that he is proven guilty of. Our issue is that he and everyone else around him keeps lying about everything, saying all the charges have been dismissed and blah, blah, blah. And the case file's empty and it's all just a matrix attack. That's a problem. It's all lies. It's all lies. And when he says, no, this was all from more than 10 years ago. No, it wasn't. That's a lie.
Wow.
Yeah. And when I never did this, I never did that. I never did this. I never did that. You're contradicting what you said from videos just a couple years ago and so on. So that's the point. Why do we keep blasting away Tate? Because he keeps lying, and there are lots of stupid people out there who don't know any better, and they believe the lies. What do you do? So what do? You just, he's lying to a bunch of people. We'll just keep quiet. No. Got to expose that nonsense.
Yes. Powerful.
And if you've got a problem with that, maybe you're a tater tot. Can you run through the idea of Muslims worshiping Muhammad? Asking Muhammad for intercession is worship, according to some Islamic sources. God bless you both. Well, they talk to Muhammad during their prayers. They say, "Peace be upon you, O Prophet." And so what's going on there? They're praying. They're praying. Your prayers are supposed to be for Allah. Your salah is supposed to be that's supposed to be for Allah, and you speak directly to Muhammad. That is the language of direct address. So notice the difference between, oh God, please bless grandma. It's like grandma's dead. Oh God, please bless grandma. That's one thing. Oh, grandma, I really love you. That's something else entirely. Now you're talking to grandma. In one case, you're talking to God about grandma. God bless grandma. If I say, oh, grandma, now you've got some issues because now grandma can hear you and stuff. And so the question is, how does this make sense in light of your theology? But yeah, Muslims speak directly to Muhammad during their prayers. There's that. You have Allah and his angels praying for Muhammad or upon Muhammad, according to the Quran itself. But then you just have all of these little things in the Muslim sources about them, like being obsessed with gathering his bodily fluids and stuff like this, and drinking his blood and all kinds of weird stuff that is, let's just say, things that are not how you would treat an ordinary human being.
Especially Dick, he enjoyed a lot of that, I would say.
Yeah, Diha had a lot of fluid issues with Muhammad. What's wrong with you, man?
But so the aspect of it of asking Muhammad for intercession being considered worship according to Islamic sources. So the Quran seems to, on the one hand, accuse Christians and Jews frequently of worshiping their own priests and their own religious authorities. Some Muslims bring this whole explanation when the whole Mary issue is brought up. So when it says that when it says and he will ask Jesus, did you tell the people take me and my mother as gods besides Allah? We point out that this is a huge misunderstanding, and that obviously the author of the Quran doesn't understand the Trinity and thinks Mary is part of it. And Muslims then say, no, this means is it's because of the veneration of Mary. This is called worship. This is what the Quran is saying. Well, by the same standard, the way Muslims treat Muhammad would also be pretty much worship.
Yep.
And among traditionalist Muslims, the Salafis and others, there is some condemnation and objection to how Muslims have historically treated Muhammad, because historically Muslims, especially the Sufis and others, have had this whole thing for Muhammad, like, oh yeah, Muhammad, help us when we die in the afterlife, and so on. And they say that this is equal to worshipping Muhammad, and this is kufr, and makes you a disbeliever. But the same people just don't have any objection to doing their daily prayers, their salahs, and just speaking to Muhammad directly, and so on. It is all a giant mess.
It is, in fact, a big, giant mess. And along the lines of what you're referring to there, it's interesting because we've pointed this out before, but Muhammad gave a definition of worship that makes it pretty indisputable that his followers today are worshiping him. So you have in Surah 9, so you got Surah 9, verse 29, fight those who do not believe in Allah, and so on. And then it gives the explanation for why we need to be fought. And so 9:30, that's where Jews call Ezra the son of Allah and Christians call Jesus the son of Allah, and so on. But then it goes on and it says that Jews and Christians take their priests and rabbis as lords in derogation of Allah. And we got the historical background of that. There was a Christian who challenged Muhammad on that and says, what are you talking about? I think it was a convert. I have to read that again. But he said, hey, what are you talking about? They don't worship their priests and rabbis. And Muhammad responded and said, whenever Allah says that something is halal and your priests or your rabbis make it haram, or if Allah says it's haram and your priests or rabbis make it halal, and you go with them, you're worshiping them. Why is that relevant? Well, we've got entire videos by people like Muhammad Hijab saying, according to the Quran, sex with a 5-year-old would be halal. But you find out from Muhammad, if you apply Muhammad's harm principle in this weird fashion and so on, then you find out that it's haram. It's like, wait a minute. What did you just do? Allah says it's halal. Muhammad says it's haram. What is that? According to Muhammad, that's worship. According to Muhammad, you just worshiped Muhammad. And that's not according to me. That's not according to AP. That's according to Muhammad himself. So they're constantly doing things that, according to their own religion, constitutes worship, and they're doing it towards Muhammad and claiming to be the people who have the pure, undefiled, monotheistic religion. Weird stuff. But the people. I agree. It is important to deal with Islam, but creating an AFD laissez-faire nightmare is not an appropriate response. How do you respond to that, AP?
Well, you should stick to LSD.
Yeah. Yeah, stick to what you're good at. Doing LSD, apparently.
Why are you answering LSD? What's your, like, that's what you deal with? Do you have a problem with ACE? ASD? LSD? AFD? I don't know. None of it makes sense.
You are going to be answering LDS. You are going to be stuck with these problems where you're like, oh, I have a problem with Islam, but the people who would actually do something about that problem, they're messed up because of this, and therefore I'd rather be subjugated by Islam.
Look,
And I'm not saying you prefer one or the other. I'm saying sometimes you're going to be stuck with some messed up alternatives.
That's what they do. I said before that there are definitely things that are part of certain parties like the AfD, which I don't agree with. It's also a basically catch-all alternative anti-immigration and anti-Islam party. The thing is, I personally consider it kind of necessary at this point to support a party like that, because despite the fact that there might be things about the party and about such parties that might be problematic, and that I might in the long run not consider worthy supporting, they are at least the ones who do something about this. Would I rather have an alternative that messes things up in a way, or would I just continue? Would I rather just continue with these softies that just sell out the country and let them rape your kids? And just let the Islamists take over, who by now announced that they want to lead the Western nations within the next 50 years. I would rather go with those who want to change that, and may not be perfect. In your face.
AP, you are talking about Scottish liberalism. Scottish liberalism. European liberalism always reaches this point.
European.
No, European. Eric says, could you explain the Islamic principles of permissible deception, taqiyya, tawriya, kitman, and maruna? How much default deception would you say is at work in Muslim, non-Muslim interactions? Normally, Eric, I just go with what the clear passages you have in the Quran and the Hadith. So you have deception, where if someone is going to harm you or persecute you or something like that because of your belief in Islam or because of your belief in your sect of Islam, that you can lie about that. No, I'm not a Muslim. No, I don't believe in Muhammad. I don't believe any of that stuff. What a bunch of nonsense. You could say that as a Muslim if it's to protect yourself. But you'll have Muslims who say that that's the only form of it. One, you'll have Sunnis who say no, that's a Shia practice. Nonsense. It's straight out of the Quran. It's straight out of the Sunni sources as well. Sure. Shias had to use it more because Shias were the minority. So Shias had to use it against Sunnis. They say, "Hey, are you a Shia?" No, I'm not. Okay, curse Ali then. And they could do stuff like that if they needed to, or his sons or something like that. So you have that, but you'll have Muslims who say, no, it's just in cases where your life is in danger from people who are persecuting you for being a Muslim or something like that. No, think about Surah 3, verse 28, where it says, don't be friends with the disbelievers unless it's to guard yourselves from them. This isn't saying anything about these guys wanting to kill you because you're a Muslim. It's about you not being friendly to people. It's saying don't be friends with these people unless you not being friends with them and you letting them know what you actually want to do, that you plan to subjugate them and so on. If that's going to set them against you and you're a minority, well, don't tell them about that stuff. Pretend to be friendly. So you can pretend to be friendly. And so that's the problem when you're talking about Muslim and non-Muslim interactions. If a Muslim is genuinely peaceful, genuinely doesn't want to subjugate the world, genuinely doesn't want to harm you at all, genuinely just wants to live a normal life and so on, what's he going to say? Well, he's going to say that's what he believes. If he wants to subjugate you, but he knows that he's a minority in society and can't do it right now, what's he going to say? He's going to say the exact same thing the actually peaceful Muslim says. And that's kind of the problem with Muslim and non-Muslim interactions. The one who wants to subjugate you will say the exact same thing as the one who doesn't want to subjugate you. And so it becomes very difficult to figure out who you should believe. Rough stuff.
Rough stuff.
You don't know anything. What are you talking about? To be fair, Muslims are the most persecuted group on this awesome channel. That's funny. Two-tier Kier was applying ice cream to their burns from proves he watches you. Yes. Yeah, we'll pull a Muhammad Hijab. We know you're watching us. I'm a Christian student at University of Michigan, Dearborn, wondering if either of you plan on visiting Dearborn anytime soon or in the future. Love both of you guys. Y'all have been a huge help for my apologetics club on campus.
Oh, thanks.
I'm sure I'll be back in Dearborn at some point because I've been there like 20 times. But yeah, I don't have anything scheduled in the near future.
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow we'll just show up. If I were to draw a basic stick figure and name the figure Muhammad, would this be enough for the followers of the religion of peace to harm me? Yeah, Molly Norris. Remember Molly Norris when she called for an Everybody Draw Muhammad Day? She drew a teacup. And the teacup, she put a little speech bubble, and the teacup was saying, I'm Muhammad. And that was enough for her to get a death sentence. She's been in hiding ever since. So yes, something small. With that said, probably nothing's going to happen because a bunch of people are doing it now. We should go to the UK and get offended whenever Muhammad Hijab posts something. Yeah, keep in mind what a problem this is. You got, hey, you very old person, you posted something offensive. Meanwhile, you got Ali Dawa and stuff posting on YouTube. On YouTube that he wants to kill apostates. Well, he wants to watch as apostates are being killed. And that's fine. Like, that's what I don't get. How is saying, hey, I got a problem with this? That's a hate crime. You need to get locked up. But calling for people to actually be executed for their beliefs, that's fine, as long as you're Muslim.
What's the problem?
And that people can't figure out why they call this two-tier Kier, and you have to be an extremist to spot this issue.
What's the problem?
What's the problem then? Let's see what we got here. Devin again says, unfortunately, Tate is a U.S.-born American citizen not subject to blocks by state officials for movement. If you want to discuss what is lawful and not, I'd invite both of you to... You don't seem like... But I like how I get to fun polemics. Tate is a monster. Govs too. Okay, Tate is a monster, yes. As far as Tate being a U.S.-born American, that has nothing to do with whether he's in Romania and is charged in Romania, right? If I go to China right now and I commit a bunch of crimes, that means they have to say, oh, well, he's an American citizen. He gets to freely move around as much as he wants. No. And again, I don't even know what you're responding to, Devin. We're saying we have a problem because he's a compulsive liar and he keeps lying to tons and tons of people who keep buying his lies. And he goes on these big shows with these big platforms and they help him lie. What are you objecting to here? If he lies and we know it's a lie and we can prove that it's a lie, are you saying we should just what are you even responding to? We can't figure it out.
It might be a response. It might be a reference to saying that what was that? That Florida just started an investigation and so on. But yeah, whatever. Yeah. I don't care as long as the legal procedure. As long as the legal procedure continues. I saw this report by somebody who said what was it? Breaking Florida Attorney General executes search warrants against Andrew and Tristan Tate.
I thought you were about to say executes Andrew Tate. I was going to be what? No, now I'm going to be agreeing with Devin. He should not have been executed without a fair trial.
No, I read Florida Attorney General executes and saw Andrew Tate and I got excited for a second, but then apparently, too bad. It's just execute search warrants. But that's what's going on right now. I mean, I wish him good luck, and I think that somebody like Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate should be definitely prosecuted and not let go because they are obviously guilty. That's it. That said, I'm not saying that they should be treated unlawfully.
Nope. And here's the wild thing. What's that? 3 countries now where he's being investigated for human trafficking? And he's got like arrest warrants in 2 he's got the Romania where he's actually going to trial, and then he's got I think an arrest warrant or an extradition or something like that from the UK, and now they're investigating him in the US as soon as he got here.
Yeah, so now he is under criminal investigation in the US. He has an arrest warrant and extradition affirmed in the UK, and he's technically still under arrest in Romania and has to go back by the end of this month.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? He says he's going to go back, but that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I were him, it would be smart to go back, because if they're going to keep dragging their feet as far as the actual trial, you want to be able to say, look, guys, you let me go before and I came back. So let me go again. Let me go again. You know I'm going to come back. It's in his best interest to be. And then what do you need to do? You need to get to Dubai or something like that. So, hey, you let me go to the U.S. and then I came back. And so now I'm just going to do a quick little trip to Dubai.
Powerful.
Tate is trash. Some of the boys in my youth group were following him for a time, and I told him, not good. I've been inspired by you two. I'm starting a YouTube channel focusing on apologetics.
Nice. Yeah, Tate is just a rapist, but other than that, I don't know. Yeah.
Is urinating upon the Quran considered desecration if it's on fire to put out the flames? Sounds like the real Islamic dilemma. Thought I would ask the experts on Quran desecration.
No, this is why you can always set the Quran on fire and then pee on it.
Yeah. It's pretty straightforward. So yeah, you can quote us on that, sir. You could quote us on that. Well,
powerful.
There's a video by Turkish news company about a London cop converting to Islam. It's called London Policeman in Edgware Road Converts to Islam. His name is PC Paul. PC Paul sounds that sounds perfect. PC Paul.
Yeah.
I'm PC Paul. Sorry about Romania. Sorry, not about Romania, just Florida. Oh, I have zero clue what's going on in Romania. Like, my knowledge is just like I saw the same little trending thing that AP said. I fully support you guys focusing on him. He's a huge danger. Okay, David, I could probably get you into Crapnida if you ever sadly wanted to come. I can't think of a situation where I want to come to Canada. Admin law issues for convicts of moral turpitude. Yeah, I know. I realized that when they had me escorted through the airport with a guy with a machine gun. Oh yeah, no. As far as Florida, yeah, I have no idea what the situation is. If it's but I know that there have been people in Florida that are part of the case. And wasn't that your buddy, your hero Suleiman Ahmed AP, like went and was like harassing someone or something?
Yeah. It was Andrew Tate hired him to go and find dirt on somebody.
Yeah, something like that. And I think that was in Florida. That's why I'm wondering if that's why they're jumping on it. So yeah, it's it's a situation where, as far as the Romania charges are concerned, what all the U.S. should be doing as far as those charges are concerned is making sure that Tate gets back by the time he's supposed to be back by. But if there's stuff that he's done in the U.S. Needs to be investigated. So as long as we're in agreement on all that, I don't see why AP is flipping out so much. Remember that logic puzzle from when we were kids about the two doors leading to heaven, hell, and one always lies, but one always tells the truth? We need to identify a test like that for is it taqiyya? Yeah, we do need some sort of test. Oh, matter of fact, that'd be a funny video. How to tell if a Muslim is practicing taqiyya. It must be nice to be wanted. Yep. Tate is wanted in multiple countries. Does Allah say in Quran, I am God, in those exact words in first person? Does Jibreel say I'm an angel sent by Allah? Is this the word of Allah? Nope. You have all kinds of stuff that no one says as they should.
He says, I am Allah.
He says, I am Allah. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. He even says that he even bears witness. So he's a devout Muslim. Because Muslims
worship me. There's no deity except me. Worship me. That's what he says.
All right, so we've been going forever now. We watched a couple of video clips, but let's go ahead and check out this speech by Douglas Murray, who, for all you negative Nellies and negative Nancys out there, moaning and wailing with AP, we're all doomed, Europe is doomed, there's no hope for the future. You've got some people at the art conference who seem a bit more hopeful, and among them is one of the great British people of our time, Douglas Murray.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you and good morning. So good to see all of you here, and thank you to the organizers of ARC for inviting me. Perhaps I could just start by saying that I think that the challenge that Philippa and the organizers of this conference have laid out is much bigger even than we speakers have been told. It's a sort of challenge upon a challenge to be invited to be optimistic about the future from the wastelands of East London. And
Is that a joke? He says wastelands of East London. I don't know. Are they actually in a bad part? Anyone know about the area?
East London is perceived to be very bad, but I don't know.
Really? I thought it was like south. I don't know.
No,
Maybe all of London. No, I know there are good parts of London. I'm not sure of the layout.
It's east and north is bad, I think.
No, I was in South London. It was pretty crappy.
I think everything except the west is bad. So
Yeah. Okay, that's good. All right.
East London. And I'd like to tell all foreign visitors to this conference that if you go just a few miles from this conference center, you'll find a most charming and historical city with many landmarks worth seeing.
Oh, does sound like he's saying that they're in a crappy area, and that if you go a couple miles away, it's, hey, is that Constantine kissing in the middle? Looks like.
Oh yeah, that's him. That's him.
Constantine.
One of the questions I think that all ages ask themselves is, what do they call the age that they are in? Almost every age has had this question. Most recently, the age of modernism asked what comes after modernism, and the rather unoriginal idea was postmodernism.
That was dumb.
Postmodernism, of course, included its offspring of deconstructionism, and nothing came from that. But I would...
He's right. Postmodernism, then deconstructionism, and then he's going to have his name for the new age.
Included its offspring of deconstructionism, and nothing came from that. But I would like to suggest a name for the age that we should be in, and the age that this conference can help bring in, the age of Reconstruction. We should be the Reconstructionists. The deconstructionists knew something about how to take...
What are you complaining about?
That already exists.
What, the age of Reconstruction?
Well, Reconstructionism isn't that already a thing, a movement? East London is very, very heavily Muslim populated, and has high percentage Muslim.
So it must be the most peaceful, wonderful place on earth.
2021, 32% of East London identified as Christians, 30% as Muslim. Jeez.
Good work, guys.
The deconstructionists knew something about how to take things apart, but like children with bicycles, had no idea how to put them back together. So it'll be the job of people like those in this room to try to put that civilization back together, and I'm delighted that that's one of the things that we're gathered here to do.
What the heck is wrong with you? You're sitting here, look at this. Keep talking about negative Nellies here, and you got AP shaking his head. You've got Douglas Murray saying, okay, we just had a generation that specialized in ripping things apart, tearing things down, deconstructing everything. They're like kids with bicycles. Oh, I can figure out how to take this apart. And then they don't know how to put it back together. Okay, we're going to have to be the generation that figures out how to put these things back together. We're at a conference with some of the most brilliant thinkers in the world, all gathered around. How are we going to put things back together? And you got AP here. No, you'll never do it. You shut up. Just be hopeless and miserable, and just let your ship sink to the bottom and play the violin. play the violin as it's sinking, but under no circumstances should you try to stop it from sinking. This what negativity, man. That Turkish negativity.
I mean, just look at a graph of it, man. I'm just looking at a graph of it right now. It's like, when and why did you let this happen? Why would you let something like?
Because
how
people are
dumb do you have to be?
stupid.
How dumb do you have to be to let this happen? It's
Oh,
just so
pretty dumb. There's no disagreement there. The point is there are smart people. And if you have the population that are listening to dumb people, then they're gonna make some dumb decisions. If this population starts listening to the smart people, and there are some smart people there, but I mean, think about this. You don't.
Good luck, mate. Good luck.
I mean, it's just crazy. It's like you need a bit of a shift, but it's not like. It's not just like complete night and day. You need a percentage of the population to wake up. You already have a bunch of people who understand what the problem is and stuff. You just need a little bit more. And no, we're all doomed. It's too late. It's too late for anybody. Don't listen to this man. He's trying to give you hope for the future.
I wanted to lay out two broad ideas of what we can do to bring that to pass. First, let me just give an example. Since we are in Britain and there are many Europeans here, I might just make reference to the fact there seems already to be, not in this room, but in Europe, widely a certain contempt for innovations that are occurring in the US, not least at governmental level. Mm-hmm. There's a whining and a howling about, for instance, Doge's attempts to not just stop government waste, but actually to reform by exposing government waste. One of the great advantages of Doge so far is you don't only see a way in which a country like America might balance the budget, but in stripping away all of those layers of bureaucracy and budget, you also unveil underneath it the kind of rot that our societies have been willing to put up with along the way.
Hey, that Doge stuff, man. If anyone's in the world isn't familiar with what that is, that's the Department of Government Efficiency. Trump announced while he was still campaigning that he was going to let Elon and someone else run a Department of Government Efficiency and try to figure out how we're wasting so much money. And I thought, good idea. Did not expect him to do it. I did not expect him to do it. It's like 90% of what politicians say they're going to do, they don't actually do and stuff. So I was not expecting him to do it, but was hoping someone would do something because for years, whenever there's like politicians and a new election coming up or something like this, I'm always like, I don't have strong feelings much of anyway. And people go, no, you have to. And but I was always thinking, it was always in my head, if every single year you run up $1 to $2 trillion more of debt for your country, and both sides do this, you are doomed no matter what you do. It does not matter what else you do. I don't care if you turn things around a little bit here or there. You are doomed. That eventually catches up with you. You eventually get to the point where 80% of your tax revenue is going to paying off just the interest in all this stuff. You can't keep passing that off to future generations. Eventually get to a generation where they have to give everything just to pay off interest that they had nothing to do with. They didn't do that. Previous generations did that. So anyway, that's what I was. So anyway, you eventually got to someone who's actually doing something. Is it going to work? I don't know, because guess what? When you have that much waste, you've got a bunch of people's like pet projects and a bunch of people's stuff that they've got going on. And you're going to make a ton of enemies along the way, just taking away all the money that people are putting into their little projects and so on. So is it going to work? I don't know. I'm all for the effort. So we will certainly have our disagreements with some things that the administration does, but I like the idea of exposing all this massive, stupid, idiotic, insane waste. Don't hum me. What?
I gather that the administration in DC is looking to do after USAID something which was found to be so rotten that it had to be gotten rid of in its entirety, is looking at doing the Department of Education. In America, In America, as in the rest of the West, there is no greater task to do. In New York State, where I spend much of my time, an average spend at a state school is now per pupil around $35,000 a year. For that sum, K through 12 students finish with only just about half of them with basic literacy and half with basic numeracy.
You guys catching that? The cost of a year of just regular school for a child is about $35,000 that is being spent on that child's year of school. And they're barely cracking, what did he say? Like half are literate?
Some K through 12 students finish with only just about half of them with basic literacy and half with basic numeracy. So nobody can tell us that money is the problem. Money is not the problem. You could keep throwing money at this problem and you can still create more and more illiterates. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to mention briefly the two things I think that can be looked at. The first is, of course, innovation. Again, for those of us in Europe and in Britain, there's an enormous amount to learn. Rather than to scorn the American experience. There are reasons why so many of the unicorn startups are from America, why disproportionately they're still from America. There must be something that they're doing right. In this country, we still have a situation where 1 in 5 of the working age population simply do not work, and we, the rest of the taxpayers, subsidize those people not to work. And this seems to me to be a great national scandal, but still something which our governments don't care to address.
He did point out, yeah, he did. It was interesting that he's pointing out that Europeans are flipping out over what's going on in America. I understand the specific things like with like Putin or something like that massively affects that's something that will affect Europe, and so I understand them being concerned about that. But they've got leaders over there who are throwing tantrums about everything. And it's like, what are you throwing tantrum? Like what? Like what? Yeah, I mean, is it what? I mean, because it's things like Doge, right? I mean, we find out that USAID, the money is just going to all these like completely insane causes. And so we're saying, hey, just cancel the entire thing. And you have leaders around the world like losing their minds over this stuff. Oh my goodness, how can you not spend $50 million for condoms and guns? Oh my goodness, how dare you? Anyway, weird stuff.
To my mind, one of the great explanations for this disparity in innovation between Europe and America is a very simple question. It's our attitude towards risk. The idea in America remains that life is indeed risky, that success is risky. And in much of the rest of the West, we've fallen into a kind of complacency, which is a sort of welfarism. When I returned to the UK recently, I discovered that the great debate in the UK was about how to kill the elderly more efficiently. And I was struck that the only argument that any Labour minister could make against euthanasia coming online with the NHS was that she didn't think that the NHS was capable of performing euthanasia efficiently. I mentioned in...
He's pretty funny.
Yeah. He has a funny way of putting pretty messed up things.
Yeah. It is funny that he says it all with this like posh British accent. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something funny about it.
Spectator at the time that this was, I think, wrong in one important degree. The NHS is a world leader in killing the elderly.
Whoa, hang on. Mickle here says, watch the Donald Trump address to Congress. It's going down. One member just got sent out. Well, we can't do that. We weren't trying to send everyone away. But we will cover the highlights. We will cover the highlights if something interesting happens.
Online with the NHS was that she didn't think that the NHS was capable of performing euthanasia efficiently. I mentioned in The Spectator at the time that this was, I think, wrong in one important degree. The NHS is a world leader in killing the elderly. It's just that they only kill the people who don't want to die. The NHS, to which endless governments in this country pour money, is always told to us to be the envy of the world, and yet, of course, none of us can find a GP appointment. But I wanted to mention one other main thing, and to do so, I just wanted to reflect on something that's been much on my mind in the last couple of years. I spent most of the last couple of years in Ukraine and a much lengthier time in the Middle East covering the wars there. And when I returned to the UK in December, I bumped into a politician friend from Westminster and I was extolling the virtues of the IDF, with whom I've been embedded for much of the last year in Gaza and Lebanon and elsewhere. And she said to me, isn't it remarkable that extraordinary events throw up these extraordinary people? I was singing the praises of the amazing young men and women of the IDF as they battle the death cults of Hamas and Hezbollah. And
hey, you see how different that is? Like an art conference and then whatever Keir Starmer's doing?
Yeah.
Very, very different. Two different worlds. Very close together. They're only a couple miles apart, but very different worlds there.
And this politician said to me, it is amazing, isn't it, Douglas, that this young generation has stepped up to the challenge, has answered that question of whether or not their generation is fit for the civilizational challenge. And she said, it's extraordinary the way in which events throw up people. And I said to her, there's a tweak we need to do to that analysis, which is it's not just extraordinary events that throw up extraordinary people. It's extraordinary events when they come up against people who have been extraordinarily well cultured. And what I mean by that is that it's not enough that a civilization or a generation comes across a defining moment. It is that when that happens, you know what you're fighting for. It is that you know you're fighting for your faith, for your family, for your people, for your tradition, for your way of life, and very much more.
Quote G.K. Chesterton again, ladies and gentlemen. Chesterton said, the true soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him. That is one of the ongoing problems in the UK. What was it, like 10% of young people said they'd be willing to fight for the UK if needed. They don't love the UK anymore. What do you do? What do you do when your population doesn't love their own country? Well, guess what? Then they're not going to fight for it. Well, guess what? Well, when someone else comes in to subjugate them, they're thinking, yeah, we deserve it. This place sucks. That's what they're dealing with here.
Clever people can sometimes say very stupid things. And in a recent interview, Yuval Noah Harari, who wrote *Sapiens*, was asked if there was any book that he would recommend that people could read in the present to understand the future that's coming. And he said no, he couldn't think of such a book because change was going to be so incredibly fast. And I said a couple of days later at an event in Jerusalem, that's flat out wrong. Change has always happened. And if you want a book to guide you, how about having the book that guided your forebears?
Was this gay atheist talking about the Bible? Did you catch that?
Why would you do that?
He just said, hey, guy said, no, there's no book that could guide you to the future. Change is happening so rapidly. And Douglas Murray said, no, change has always happened. If you think there's no book to guide you, why don't you go to the book that guided the people before you?
Beast.
Again, well, I'm trying to think because he doesn't say what book he's talking about. I'm assuming he means Bible, but that's just funny if it's Douglas Murray.
I decided to have a look at the Trump's address, but it's just it's kind of ridiculous. The Democrat women are wearing pink outfits because apparently that's like sending a very strong message of protest against Donald Trump. Like, who gave them this advice? Who gave them this? Like, I don't even care what you think and what your ideas are and so on. Who gave you the advice that putting on pink outfits would be a strong statement against Donald Trump?
Don't they always do like the dumbest thing? Here, guys. Okay.
I'm very serious right now. Look, this is no matter if you. I could sit here and believe that Donald Trump is a complete scumbag and oppressor and does everything wrong and so on, and we must oppose him at all costs. Even if I did think exactly that, why would I ever conclude that putting on pink outfits is a fantastic idea to make a point here? If I was part of the opposition, I would say, "Are you guys retarded? Please take that off."
It's like when you had all these women's marches and they're going around in vagina costumes and vagina hats and stuff like this, and it's like, who that you disagree with do you think is going to be persuaded by that? Like, anyone who agrees with you was already on your side. Who are you trying to impress? Here's what's crazy. Like just speaking from a straight up strategy perspective, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump basically has 2 years. He has basically 2 years to do almost anything he wants. Why? Because you got a stacked deck there. You're going to have the midterm elections. If enough people are ticked off, he's going to lose. He's going to lose some. The Republicans are going to lose some seats, and they're not going to be able to do anything they want. So you got basically 2 years, right? Guess he's going to be ticking off a lot of people with a lot of stuff. I just pointed out all these. Even though it's like massively necessary to cut government waste and government spending and so on, he's going to step on a lot of toes when he does that. He's going to enrage a lot of people. He's going to make a lot of enemies who are going to want to tear him down. So all you'd have to do is not be insane. 2 years. You have to wait 2 years and not come across as completely insane. And you would take away his ability to do much of anything for the rest of his second term in office. What do? We're wearing pink. Look at us. Okay, now you seem like idiots and lunatics. It's weird. It's massively dysfunctional that they think this is what's going to work and rally people around us. We'll throw up in pink.
This is what America needs right now.
That's what we need. That's what we need. Powerful, powerful stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Powerful stuff. Anyway, but we've got Douglas Murray, fortunately. But hey, check this out. Let me back this thing up. Sounds like he's talking about the Bible.
Yuval Noah Harari, who wrote *Sapiens*, was asked if there was any book that he would recommend that people could read in the present to understand the future that's coming, and he said no, he couldn't think of such a book because change was going to be so incredibly fast. And I said a couple of days later at an event in Jerusalem, that's flat out wrong. Change has always happened. And if you want a book to guide you, how about having the book that guided your forebears?
You mean the Quran?
That'd be funny. That would be funny if you just paused for a couple of seconds and went, the Quran. Or it'd be even funnier if he said, the Holy Quran.
Now, to do that, you have to come to the second thing I wanted to mention this morning that you need for civilizational renewal, and that's the ability to look back. To look back. We've wasted so much time in recent years. We've wasted so much time. People have made us move at such a retarded speed. We've had years.
Did he just say the speed is retarded? Did you hear what he said? Very rude. I didn't even know you were allowed to say that.
Back. We've wasted so much time
in
recent years.
Listen to this.
We've wasted so much time. People have made us move at such a retarded speed. We've had...
But the speed...
But the speed is retarded.
Years of talking about the most basic things that our species knew, men and women, what are they? Come on. Who had time for this?
No one.
Who has...
No one did back in the day.
And the problem is that there is a cost to this. There has been a civilizational cost to be made to go at the speed of the slowest kids in the class. Now,
jihadis. Just so everyone knows, when we talk about the slowest kids in the class, we mean you, Ali Dawa. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about you and your fans.
one response to the era of mass migration that I've written a great amount has been what I've described as the deculturation of our societies. The idea that in order to welcome people into our societies, we effectively have to pretend that we are uninteresting places, unimportant places until migration makes us interesting. And I just wanted to mention an analogy here, which my friend Eric Weinstein, who's come in today from LA, gave me this idea a while ago. He said, as a boy, he had the impression that ice cream was something whose base flavor was vanilla, and all other flavors were added on top of vanilla.
That's fact, actually.
I also thought that as well.
Everybody thought.
When you make ice cream, it's vanilla, and then if you want to make it chocolate, you add some chocolate syrup or something like that. And if you want anything else, you have to add it into the vanilla.
I'm actually shocked right now that he's suggesting that this is not what it is.
Yeah, this whole video should be titled Douglas Murray's shocking announcement about ice cream.
And he said it was only at some point in his youth that he discovered that vanilla itself is a flavor, and a very complex flavor. Now, we in the West...
It's kind of a funny, messed up analogy. He's saying that we're in the West, we're kind of vanilla, right? And we think we need to add something else to make ourselves not just plain vanilla. That's funny, but no, he's like, no, vanilla's good. It's good to just be vanilla. That's kind of funny. I don't know.
It's actually good.
I know.
I can get behind it.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny, though. We're okay being vanilla.
On top of vanilla. And he said it was only at some point in his youth that he discovered that vanilla itself is a flavor.
We're proud to be vanilla.
And a very complex flavor.
I'm changing my name to Vanilla Ice.
Now, we in the West have created an extraordinarily complex and rich flavor. And we have spent recent years pretending that we have no flavor.
Our flavor is vanilla.
Flavor is something that only other people bring to us. And this...
He's going to start selling Proud to be Vanilla t-shirts.
This is, of course, flat out wrong, but it's been something that we have told more than one generation of young people in the West. We've told them that we don't really have anything very great, or if we do, we oughtn't to talk about it too much. And I believe that that is flat out wrong, because what we have in cities like that, just a little way up the road, and in the cities of Europe and the West, are the greatest civilization that the world has known. And we have the choice. We have the choice either to live in the wastelands or to rebuild them. Now, there are cities in Europe.
AP says, no, this can only be a wasteland.
No, I must say that for such a horrible country, such a terrible place, which seems beyond repair and completely lost, and at this point should probably abolish itself. This guy is making some really good points, and giving an inspiring speech.
Douglas Murray, ladies and gentlemen.
The greatest civilization that the world has known. And we have the choice. We have the choice either to live in the wastelands or to rebuild them. Now, there are cities in Europe, I think of cities like Budapest, I think of many German cities, where the idea is that you actually can restore beauty to the built environment, that people do not need to wander like lost souls around the wastelands of East London looking for meaning against buildings that tell them you are nothing, you do not matter. We have the opportunity to restore, not just in the built environment, but in the educational environment, to make sure that when we talk about our culture, we don't just talk about it, but we also do it. For people to realize that our culture is not just something they revere, but something that young people can add to understand the conversation, the poetry of mankind, to understand that just because Mozart is great does not mean you cannot build on Mozart. That just because the great buildings are great does not mean you cannot add to them. I would urge in the age of Reconstruction that our great task is not just to break through with innovation, but to reclaim what is ours, to say that we love it.
To say that we love vanilla. We love vanilla ice. Ice, ice, baby. We like vanilla coffee. Vanilla ice cream. We like marshmallows. Snow. Clouds. We like cotton swabs. I'm trying to think of other white things.
With innovation, but to reclaim what is ours, to say that we love it, and that if people wish to join us in the veneration of this civilization, they are very, very willing to do so. If they don't wish to join us, there are other places they can be.
Where might that
That was good.
Everybody knows that those of us who revere T.S. Eliot revere him in part because he told us, and indeed tells us still, that a civilization can be reclaimed even at the 11th hour. But even in this hall, I would say that there is another possibility as well, which other philosophers, Strauss and others, also give us, which is the possibility that civilization can also be reclaimed even at the 13th hour, even in the most inauspicious circumstances, and most importantly today, from the most inauspicious of locations. Thank you.
be?
Wow, man. I must say, I don't know. It's so wild to me because so often I hear this weird thing which kind of people in the West have even internalized at this point, which he also points out. For example, this phrase, white people don't have culture. Like this is something that you hear in America, for example, or things like that. Oh, what do you mean white culture? There are some things that we should be saying and that should be common sense nowadays to say, which are that a lot of the things that we do today, the way we live today, the way we use the internet, the way we communicate with each other, the way we talk to each other, the way we act, the basic morals, the basic the basic not morals, but the basic how would you describe it? The way we treat each other, the way we greet each other, and so on. So much is based on Western culture and on what Western people have built. It is Western culture to actually go online and use the internet and use the apps that we use, basically. Yes, you might say, "Oh, I like this Mexican food or food from here and there, and that is culture." Yeah, well, if you go on an app and type that you like Mexican food, then you are basically using Western culture. It's what Western culture developed. It is what the West developed. It is what the Western man has developed.
You're sounding a little too German in this entire
And
rant.
you are using what the Western man has developed proudly and efficiently and happily and sufficiently. And you should be happy with that. You should not be ashamed to express that. If you are ashamed of it, you should go somewhere else. I have to. No, I must say that it shouldn't be a wrong thing to just say it's okay to appreciate and to be proud of everything that the West has built. I'm sorry, but the rest of the world just looks like a bunch of garbage. Much of the rest of the world looks like a bunch of garbage compared to the West. Much of the world looks like a bunch of garbage compared to Europe or compared to North America. Other civilizations that build so-called civilizations.
How did this become the most racist show I've ever been on in my life?
After the United States of America, for example, which is just European people coming and finding an underdeveloped land and then developing it into the greatest thing ever. Meanwhile, you have other civilizations in other parts of the world that lived in the same land that they were in forever, and it still looks like underdeveloped garbage. I'm sorry, but it's just...
This is why we must conquer them all!
No, but it's like... It is simply true that some cultures are better than others.
We need the land!
Some cultures are significantly better than others. Some cultures build actual stuff. Other cultures don't. And there should be nothing wrong with admitting the fact that what we have in the West, Western nations, European nations, and so on, it is awesome. It is beautiful. Why would you be ashamed or afraid of admitting that? I would say, like, looking at my heritage and all of that, I don't come from a Western culture.
No,
I come from a culture that
some guy humped a wolf,
travels to a Western culture and then is personally on my own in my own experience. I come from a different culture. I'm raised here in this culture, but I see nothing but greatness where I
wolf
grow up. Why would I be ashamed of saying that this place that I grow up is amazing and I love it and I would love to preserve it and I would love to restore it again instead of turning it into that bunch of crap that my parents came from, for example? What's wrong with this? What's wrong with this?
What's wrong with this is you're half wolf, half otter. and then this otter man gets raised in Germany by the wrong people and then let loose on America and then starts, yes, I love vanilla, yeah.
You have to be proud.
Why can't I talk about how much I love the vanilla?
But isn't it funny? If I came from a garbage culture and I was proud of my garbage culture, and I sat here and gave a whole 30-day lecture on how my garbage culture is like the best thing in the world, and I'm so proud of it and so happy with it, this would be celebrated by YouTube, and I would probably get a YouTube button as a reward for that. But if I sit here and do the same thing about Western culture, then we are afraid that it might sound racist.
Yep. Oh, it sounds racist.
Retarded.
It sounds like you're going. It sounds like you're not like vanilla, like the vanilla stuff with Douglas Murray. He's like, because one, that's the most vanilla guy on the planet, right? There's like, you can't be more vanilla looking than the posh British guy, and so it makes sense for him to defend being vanilla. But you're like, vanilla's the only good thing in the world. Everything else is terrible and should be exterminated. That's what you sound like. And you're like, oh, how do I sound? Do I sound racist when I say that vanilla is the only flavor? It should be the only flavor allowed anywhere.
But hey, let's be all proud of garbage cultures, because apparently there's nothing wrong with that.
You're Turkish. You're not even vanilla.
Let's not be proud of the good cultures. Let's be proud of garbage cultures, so that we can pass as not racist.
Let's talk about all the garbage flavors of ice cream. What's wrong with you, man? It's like the worst.
Well, some cultures are garbage.
Well, I'm just gonna have to delete this entire show.
Anyway. I can say it.
No comment from Michaela, but thank you very much, Michaela.
Thank you, Michaela.
Here we have Ida. Do you agree with this? You praise Ida every time. Every super chat. But look at this. Free speech in Israel. Professor from BGU. What is that? Ben Gurion University?
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yes.
Can you call IDF soldiers child murderers and say no, innocent Israeli, and keep his job?
Well, apparently, that's what they do.
Is it? I don't even
Yeah,
know what the situation is. You familiar with
apparently
this?
that's what.
AP.
There are lots of Israelis inside Israel that say horrible things about Israel and about the government and all that, and it's fine, you know.
AP, it may be easier than you think. Just get rid of the PC leaders. Look at how things change in the U.S. with Trump. They need a leader to say enough.
I think you are underestimating the stupidity of the population because you have a democracy, a constitutional, or a what's it called, a democracy in the sense that you can elect parties that represent you, and with such a system you will get those leaders that your population actually wants. You can have enough talk and lots of talk online about what should actually happen. When election day comes, you will have you will have a very, very good reflection of what people actually think, if people are stupid or smart, if people agree with you or not. And it's looking at the last election, it just looks like the UK is very, very stupid.
Yeah, it's true for a lot of places in Europe. Yeah, here's kind of the issue. Aaron, you're completely correct in the sense of, hey, if people can vote, then at the end of the day, all you need is enough people with enough common sense to go out there and vote, and you can change things very quickly. The U.S. kind of can't be the U.S. has a bigger tradition of like bucking on leaders they don't like. It's like built into it, right? Because it was like there from the start. Right. So we're a little quicker than people are in Europe to say, you know what, screw all this. It's pissing us off. With that. So anyway, change might be a little more difficult in certain places in Europe.
I was so nice today in the last few days. I don't know why I'm such a jerk today.
Yeah, what's up? Vanilla. Love the vanilla.
I guess when somebody brings up UK, I just get angry. I don't know.
Devin says, any sources comparing Islam and Christendom? What do you mean, like Christendom, or you like Christianity? Because you said Islam.
Islam.
If you mean Islam and Christianity, 2 books. One, first one I ever read was Answering Islam by Norm Geisler and Abdul Salib. Awesome book. And Nabil's book, No God But One. He draws a lot of comparisons between Christianity and Islam. You go to the website, you go to answeringislam.com. I mean, answeringislam.net. It has a bunch of different versions, but answeringislam.net, pretty much any issue you can think of would be on there somewhere. So good stuff. Salutations, D Wood at AP. Oh no, what is it?
I don't know. What does it say?
This says, according to Google Translate, greetings, D Wood and AP. What could be between the Prophet Muhammad and Aisha or Dihya al-Kalbi? A pig, a donkey, or something else? Or was their love too perfect for Arabia? Ha 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 ha.
Donkey.
And then a little, what is that? A donkey? What is that?
That's a goat.
That's a goat. AP is Turk secret agent. That's why he's against Brits. Yeah, he could be.
That's true.
I'm suspicious of that as well. AP, when you get baptized, can you film it?
Yes.
They're asking you to film your baptism. And make sure they're not just sprinkling you with water. Make sure they're actually dunking you. Well,
I'm not sharing anything, but I feel like when people ask me, I feel like maybe I should just make another video updating.
You should. You should be vlogging your entire thing and do
I just
everything.
don't want to
do it, but you have to act like Lily J the entire time. Hey,
I
here I am at church, everyone. Oh my
I want to kind of
gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh, I just went to church. Oh my gosh!
I want to kind of limit the publicity aspect of it because, and I'm not saying it like, oh look, I'm so humble, I'm not no, not because of that at all. It's because I feel like I want to abstain from influencing my state of mind while going through the process.
Yeah. No,
That's why.
you're being wise. So here on the one hand, you're a YouTuber. You have a bunch of people who are really interested in what goes on in your life. So, as a YouTuber, you like sharing that stuff. With that said, this is serious stuff,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
don't want to be doing stuff for show. You don't want to be doing
Yeah.
stuff for show or for clicks or anything like that when they're on important issues like that. So it's tough. It's a tough call. It's like, how much do I share and how much do I just, put off till later or something like that.
I visited church this last week, and I guess I can just mention it without making a video about it. I've been to church again, and I like it, and I love it, and this time I actually felt very, very drawn to it, and I had a long conversation with a monk there, which was very, very powerful. Actually, he gave me a whole different perspective.
A
Man.
Buddhist
It was
monk?
like no,
Like a
an
Shaolin
Orthodox
monk?
an Orthodox monk who was very, very, very impressive, and I was just very careful not to praise him in his face.
Would you describe him as based or not?
Very, very super based.
Okay, super based.
What also impressed me very much is like when I expressed to him how much I appreciate what he tells me, I noticed how he totally ignores that and just continue and I got that because it's like he kind of, I guess, adopted this whole thing of like attributing this to himself or anything like that. It's a very, very interesting state to be in. But I had a long conversation with him, and you know what? I told him about my main problems, which is I have been actually kind of praying and doing certain things for a month now, but I also have a hardcore atheist, hardcore skeptic aspect, which is like, oh, if I'm not 100% sure about it, if I don't 100% know, then how can I be sure if I want to be part of it, and so on, and I'm kind of scared of this. And he had a long conversation with me about pursuing knowledge and pursuing truth, or pursuing your own convictions, or just humbly accepting wisdom. And I could never even try to put it as nicely as he put it with the speech that he gave me, but it was very, very moving. And you know what? I kind of I basically told him what I got from that conversation, and honestly, I kind of made a big confession there, which was that I feel like over the years I ended up simply just worshiping knowledge, and just worshiping knowledge for itself, and worshiping being knowledgeable. In fact, maybe it also comes with just having having publicity. But I basically talked about how I ended up worshiping knowledge and knowing so much that I started feeling like I have to always appear as if I know everything. And if I appear as if I don't know an answer to something, then this is like anxiety inducing and bad and so on. And it really opened my mind and made me go into making me go into a different direction. I don't know, these last few days, these last just 2 days it's been, right, since Sunday service. But I'm trying to be different in that regard, and just trying to go into a whole, it's okay to not know. It's okay to not have an answer. It's okay to just be quiet. It's okay to just listen instead of talking all the time, and so on. It's pretty based, pretty powerful. But anyway, after that long conversation, I also talked to the priest, and the priest is like the nicest guy in the world. And I think I'm making steps toward becoming a Christian.
You heard it here, folks. AP wants attention.
Exactly.
This here's a reasonable request, though. AP, when you get baptized, can you film it? People are going to want to.
Yes.
People are going to want to see
Yes.
that. Actually,
Yes.
makes sense in that situation because the baptism's like your public profession of faith. That makes sense to be blasting that one all over the internet.
I'll make it. It will be professionally filmed. I will try to make it as dramatic as possible. I will add some music and some glow to it. I will be like, yeah, and so on. It's like it's going to be fantastic. Yeah.
Be based.
Yeah.
How dare he say the R word? Yeah, that's Douglas Murray who said it. Shame on him. How dare he say the R word? What a returd. It's very rude. What about French vanilla?
La la la.
Yeah, French vanilla is the worst vanilla. Anything French. Should I start with reading the Bible front to back or use study Bible and focus on one book at a time to really learn them? You're John the Presbyter and you're asking us questions about this stuff? Come on. No, John the Presbyter. If you're talking about reading the Bible for the first time, I would start with one of the synoptic gospels. So Matthew, Mark, or Luke. Kind of depends on. They're all kind of focusing on and emphasizing somewhat different things. They like the synoptic gospels cover a lot of the same material, but Gospel of Mark is very like action based. Jesus went here and did this, then immediately he went over here and did this, then he went over here and did this. It's action based and Jesus going around performing miracles and so on. Matthew has a lot of the same action, but adds several of Jesus' sermons. So he's focusing on what Jesus was saying during his sermons. Luke covers a lot of the same material as in Mark and some of the same stuff that's in Matthew, but focuses more so on Jesus' parables, lots of parables and so on. And John, so I would pick one of the synoptics, and then Gospel of John. He focuses more on Jesus' personal interactions with specific individuals, like a woman at a well and Nicodemus and so on there. So I'd read one of the synoptics, then Gospel of John, then probably the book of Acts, then Romans. Then I'd go back, read straight through the New Testament, and then go and then start at the Old Testament. Now, and when I say I don't just mean reading it. You might want to spend a lot of time just on reading a gospel or something like that. But I'm talking overall pattern. One of the synoptics. Gospel of John, probably Acts, then maybe Romans, then entire New Testament, then go through the entire Bible.
Powerful. And
based. I read a hadith talking about how Momo loved Diha's vanilla cream. It was Sahih. This is very rude, guys. This is a Christian channel. Yes, Muhammad was getting banged by Diha al-Kalbi, but do we need to be crude about that? No. Muhammad was getting banged in his butt by Diha al-Kalbi. Okay, it's hard to avoid that conclusion from what we find in the Muslim sources. If that's not the case, if what I just said did not actually happen, there are some weird sources that really don't make sense about Muhammad and his little interactions, his special meetings with Diha al-Kalbi. But let's just make sure we're always nice when we're talking about that. Heard PBD will convert to Islam if you minect him. Lol. What's minect? Do you know what minect is? What? What's so funny?
Minect is an app that PBD created, which where you can where celebrities and people can sign up, and then you can pay money to text message them or to video chat them or to ask them questions, and so on. And he always promotes that, and it's like ridiculous prices.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Candace Owens is also there. If you want to talk to her.
Oh, that's that Candace Owens things. Like,
yeah, if you want to talk to her for
15 minutes,
for 15 minutes, you have to pay $22,000 or something.
Quite a bargain. I could talk to her all day long. But we have Cam here, and he's got a picture of Andrew Tate as Gollum. Heard PBD will convert to Islam if you minect him, lol, but that is what people say. How much do you think Tate and PBD are business partners? I'd say if PBD didn't get, any of these people, if they're not getting massively paid by Andrew Tate to help him spout his lies, then they're stupid, because it's something that is going to hurt their credibility with sane people in the long run. So you better be getting something out of that. And if not, you were just stupid and you're played.
Dummy.
Like a big dope. I was so offended by the vanilla cotton ball rant. You'll regret it when I protest by wearing such a white shirt. Do better. Always got to do better. Anything less than the best is a felony. That's from Ice Ice, baby. What's the line? Hang on. Anything less than the best is a felony. Love it or leave it. You better gain weight. You better hit a bullseye. The kid don't play. It's been a while since I heard that.
I don't know that we can just stop, collaborate, and listen. Is that how it goes?
Ice is back with my brand new invention.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was back when everyone had to pretend to not like him, but everyone was listening to it because it was a jam. Go Gaga, Alhamdulillah. La Chang? What? You know what this means?
Alhamdulillah Chen. I don't know.
It's Aisha Young. What's wrong with people, man? Gotta look at the names. To be fair to AP's the half-wolf Ottoman heritage. Ancient Rome's founding myth was based on two human twins breastfeeding from a she-wolf.
That's true.
Yeah. And that's why they ended up with the mafia. We got John, depressed by a Western culture, bad because history started in the colonial area for most people. Yeah. Shame on you. AP, do what Jesus leads you. Film not important. Well, baptism would be cool to have a good video record of.
If you don't film it, don't make it public, then it doesn't count. So.
Yeah, if that's the YouTuber mentality. If you don't have a video, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Video or it didn't happen. I was being sarcastic by repeating the R word. We know. If you actually write the word, it won't let you send the super chat. So I had to use. Oh yeah, I wouldn't let him say it. That's funny. Love your show. We have a Muslim builder trying to build a community surrounding a mosque in Macomb, Michigan. Also, I heard in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, I heard about the ones in Texas. What are they calling it? Epic City. We're gonna make Epic City. That's what you came up with. We're gonna make a whole Muslim town where no one will ever hear anything critical of Islam, and we'll all be under Sharia. We're gonna call it
Epic City.
We're gonna call it Epic City. Well, great, Yasser Khadi. Great. That's the greatest idea you've had since you decided to go on a live stream with hijab. Oh, these guys are awesome masterminds, man. Tactical geniuses, all of them. AP, you should become a TV evangelist, channel your inner German, and blast away.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Done.
That would be dope. All right, guys. So just wanted to go through that. I made a couple of shorter videos going through some of the speeches of Ayaan Hirsi Ali and Oz Guinness. They had a lot of the ARC speeches, which are on like technical stuff or economics or things like that, where I'm not terribly interested. But on things about like Western civilization and what to do about the problems it's facing and so on, I like that stuff. So wanted to cover Douglas Murray's speech. Probably might even do this myself when AP's just not even awake yet or something like that. There's the Konstantin Kisin one that was pretty good because he was funny the entire time. But
who's Konstantin Kisin?
He's pretty base dude. He's apparently been putting out some super based stuff. But
I know who he is. Who's he kissing?
Yep. Everyone loves kissing.
Powerful.
Everyone loves kissing. And people don't think about what cultures are better than others because they have not lived in another culture. Future PhD, how every culture needs Jesus. That's a good one. That'd be a good one.
That's good.
That would be a very good one. What else? What's going on this week, AP?
What is going on this week? Well, I would say that you're probably live with Robert Spencer tomorrow. I would say, I
I
guess.
think I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I think I'm live on. Is that tomorrow? I think I'm live on God Logic's channel. I didn't gather completely. I think God
With
Logic is
Jai?
going. God Logic is going like on a honeymoon or something like this. I'm supposed to be on. Why? Are you going to be on there too?
Jai asked me, and I don't exactly know when.
I
Same
think
thing.
I think it was 5 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, but I'd have to check. I think it's 5 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I have to recheck everything. I think, and if you were invited, then you should be on there too. But
Oh no, he said for me for Thursday and Friday or something. I don't know.
oh, okay. So it sounds like God Logic got married and he's going on a honeymoon, but he still wants people to go live on his channel while he's gone. So it seems like they're rotating in different people to do shows over on God Logic's channel, which is super cool.
You should.
Super cool. So I think I'm like 80% sure. I think I'm on there tomorrow at like 5. And then after that, we'll be on at 8 with Robert Spencer for This Week in Jihad. And then we'll have to see what's up with Thursday and Friday and so on. You'll have to check out that. You'll have to check out President Trump's message to Congress to see if anything cool and based happens.
Yeah, it sounds kind of boring, but
Yeah, speeches are.
there are other things that I might want to check out. There are some very, very interesting things to check out. There definitely is a lot to look at, including I think I sent something to you earlier. What was that? Didn't I send you something? Oh, I said that the prince of the crown prince of Saudi Arabia said something like how
Oh, yeah.
Islam should be just reinterpreted as we go and so on.
I'm liking this crown prince. I don't think he's going to be able to pull it off, but he's in a place where he can pull off some of it. Be interesting.
I don't like the guy because he has a tablecloth on his head, but still.
Yeah, what's up with that? It's like, hey, you want to modernize, then take that thing off your head.
Yeah, unless you're going, out picnicking or something like. I get it.
Oh, I haven't checked this out as well, but I've gotten a couple requests for Dennis Prager on trigonometry. So I will be checking that out. I'll have to see whether we will cover it and so on. But yes, I've gotten multiple requests, and that's usually a good sign of something good and based. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so should be a couple things going on tomorrow. Should have a video out tomorrow morning, and then a couple more things this week. We'll have to see what happens.
Based.
All right, everyone. I will catch you all tomorrow.
Don't run too fast.
Lord willing. Catch you all then.
Beast.